The drama begins with Ji-na, a quiet girl who only wants to study in peace, but her life at school is a mess. She gets good grades and, instead of that being something positive, a few jealous girls take it out on her with hits and mockery. Every day she goes home exhausted, so the only thing that comforts her is writing her sadness in her diary. One day, as she's getting on the bus, the diary falls without her noticing. A boy named Coje picks it up and runs to return it, but the bus pulls away and he's left with a notebook in his hand. Leafing through it, he finds Ji-na's address and becomes curious about this girl who writes such sad things. Meanwhile, the bullying continues at school. Ji-na walks with her head down, trying to go unnoticed, when her world changes after crossing paths with Co Robin, a new boy who has just arrived in the city. He looks rebellious, with a cold gaze and eyes that leave Ji-na frozen. Unlike all the others who swoon over his looks, she puts on a brave face and thinks he's egotistical. Robin barely speaks to her, distant and mysterious, the typical guy who seems like trouble. Soon Robin officially enters the school. The principal is scandalized by his clothes and earrings and tells him those are forbidden. Robin gives him a look that says, "Don't even think about it," and refuses to take them off. His stare is so intimidating that the principal, frightened, ends up letting it slide. Then he's introduced in Ji-na's class. All the girls are hypnotized and practically faint except her, who makes a face like, "How annoying," and on top of that grumbles inwardly because the boy sits right behind her, in the row where he can see her from behind every time she stands. A classmate tries to chat with Robin, but he keeps up his cool act, answers with few words, and to Ji-na he seems totally rude. In PE, Ji-na forgets her gym clothes and has to exercise in a skirt. The bullies take the chance to make fun of her mercilessly, laughing at her legs. Meanwhile, Robin watches openly, clearly captivated. Then they try to convince Robin to join the basketball team. He agrees without much enthusiasm, but as soon as he touches the ball, everyone is stunned. He's right-handed, plays incredibly well, and makes several classmates look bad with just a couple of moves. That's when Suji appears, a rich, stuck-up, cruel student who enjoys bullying Ji-na. In the middle of the game, she hurls the ball hard and hits Ji-na, knocking her down and hurting her. Fed up with seeing her suffer, Robin takes the next opportunity and fires a ball straight at Suji's head. She turns furious, ready to explode, but as soon as she sees it was Robin, her anger melts. Since she likes him, she pretends to be offended for a second and then lets it go. Ji-na, however, leaves with a hurt knee and her pride on the floor. Je approaches her gently, cleans the wound, and puts on a bandage, a gesture that moves her. She thanks him, but when she sees the bully nearby, she panics and runs off. Shortly after, she finds her backpack thrown in the trash, as if her existence were worth nothing. A friend calls her to the bathroom to talk, but it's a trap. Suji and her cronies are there. They surround her and start hitting her, reminding her that she refused to let them copy on the exam. One of them throws beer in her face, leaving her soaked, humiliated, and locked in the cold bathroom. Ji-na shouts for help, but no one answers. The cold gets into her bones, and when she's about to faint, a mysterious figure opens the door and pulls her out. Later, when she gets home, she runs into Je and discovers he's her new neighbor. He's happy to have her close, but she's still crushed by the bullying. Suddenly, a strange notification pops up on her phone. An app called Revenge Game or Revenge Note. The message says that if she writes someone's name, that person will receive a tailor-made revenge. Ji-na is confused, not knowing if it's a joke, a virus, or a miracle. At that moment she hears strange noises under a blanket, thinks it's a thief, and starts hitting whatever is moving. Her mom, in panic mode, runs to help and also attacks the supposed intruder. When they finally lift the blanket, the thief is Co Robin. Turns out he also lives in the same building. Ji-na's mother wants to die of embarrassment and forces her daughter to look after him. Nervous, Ji-na tries to tend to him and puts a cold egg on his face for the swelling, but ends up smashing it and realizes she's the worst nurse in the world. Robin goes back to his apartment and we learn another part of the story. He and Je are brothers and live alone. Je tells him their mother called, but Robin wants nothing to do with her. He's on bad terms with his family. He locks himself in his room thinking about Ji-na, her face, and what just happened. As for Ji-na, she returns to school and Suji doesn't take long to humiliate her again. That day, fed up with putting up with it, Ji-na opens the Revenge Game app and types in Suji's full name. Shortly after, Suji is showing off with her friends when, out of nowhere, a guy dumps a bucket of water over her face. Her new outfit is ruined and she's furious. Later, she's in the car planning her next attack on Ji-na, but the driver brakes suddenly and Suji slams into the front seat, hitting her nose. It starts bleeding like a fountain. When she gets to school, in the middle of a meeting, a video is projected clearly showing her bullying Kdrama. Everyone is stunned, and before she can react, a second video plays where she's seen offering money to be allowed to cheat on an exam. Her classmates look at her with disgust and demand an apology. Suji, full of rage, breaks the phone and yells that it's all lies, but the principal confirms she cheated and her mother punishes her severely. A moment later, Kdrama gets a message in the app. Revenge has been completed. She looks around trying to find who's behind it all. At that exact moment, Robin appears with his phone in hand and she, obviously, suspects he's the one running the app. The next day, Kdrama gets on a packed bus and, by accident, bumps into another rich, haughty girl. The girl looks her up and down, calls her poor, and decides she'll get payback. Another classmate tells Kdrama that this girl is infamous for bullying, so fear settles in her heart again. Back at the building, luckily Jae walks her home and the two of them feel a kind of little spark. As punishment, Kdrama's mom makes her clean the building, and chivalrous Jae offers to help. Robin watches from afar, cool and detached, and mocks Kdrama's outfit as if nothing mattered, though inside he's jealous. That day, Kdrama discovers Robin works as a waiter in a restaurant. He wants to save money to be completely independent. Later, while they're cleaning, Jae sees a bug and goes into panic mode, screaming as if he'd seen a monster. Kdrama can't stop laughing, because apparently he has a phobia of insects. When they finish, she tells him someone is harassing her by text, and Jae shows her how to block the number. That's when she realizes he knows a lot about computers, and the suspicion that he's the brains behind the revenge game starts to grow. At school, Robin arrives late to class because he worked late at the restaurant. The teacher gets fed up and kicks him out. Kdrama is saddened to see him trying so hard and still being treated like a slacker. She also sees him holding hands with a girl and feels a strange pang in her heart. Later, Kdrama sees smoke coming from a shed, throws water to put it out, and calls the principal. Inside they find the rich girl secretly smoking. She gets punished with ear-pulling in front of everyone. But the revenge against Kdrama isn't over. The bullies go looking for her to beat her up again, so she runs around the school as if wolves were chasing her. In her desperation, she hides in the boys' bathroom. Robin is there, and when he sees her come in, he thinks she shouldn't be there. Kdrama, almost in tears, explains the girls are after her to hit her, and he decides to cover for her, telling them there's no one inside. He saves her once more. However, it doesn't end there. The girls keep hunting her and corner her in the library, where they lock her in. The ringleader promises a cash reward to whoever finds her. Desperate and with no way out, Kdrama is forced to jump out the window. Luckily, she lands right on top of Jae, who was passing by. Dazed, he thinks an angel fell from the sky. They look into each other's eyes and the romantic tension spikes. When the bullies peek out, they hide in a bush. Jae hurts a rib and they end up in the nurse's office, where Robin shows up burning with jealousy. The atmosphere among the three grows increasingly tense, because both boys have feelings for Kdrama. After classes, the rich bully waits to settle the score. Kdrama spends the whole period in fear, but just before they hit her, a teacher shows up. Later it's revealed Robin, worried, sent a message asking someone to go help her. That stirs even more confusing feelings in Kdrama's heart. Things get complicated when Kdrama finds a wallet that turns out to be the bullies. They accuse her of stealing the money and threaten to report her to the police. They force her to sign a contract, where she agrees to obey all their orders. In short, she becomes their servant. From then on she carries backpacks, runs errands, and puts up with humiliation. Fed up with being stepped on, she writes the bully's name into the revenge app. The response comes quickly. At the height of her big moment, while singing in front of everyone, the bully gets an electric shock that makes her hair stand on end. She ends up disheveled and trembling. After that, a drunk girl vomits in her designer bag. As if that weren't enough, $100,000 disappears from her bank account, and that money ends up distributed among classmates she herself had scammed. To celebrate, the girls organize a party with the neighbors. Suji, still obsessed with Robin, tries to catch his attention at the gathering, but the boy only has eyes for someone else. In contrast, Jae is kind, attentive, and always helps Kdrama with her studies, and little by little she starts falling for him. When everything seemed to be getting better, a new problem appears. A teacher starts harassing Kdrama and even sneaks into her house. Terrified, she grabs a frying pan and whacks him on the head, leaving him dazed. The man tries to escape, snags his pants, and ends up almost in his underwear, making a fool of himself while neighbors take photos. In the end, Robin shows up like a hero, chases him down on a bicycle, and hands him over to the police. Faced with that gesture, Ji-na feels her heart take off. Ro-bin promises to protect her, and she feels having him by her side is a blessing, though at school he keeps treating her coldly, which confuses her even more. Later they organize a collection to buy new uniforms for a classmate, but the money mysteriously disappears. As always, the bad boy is the first suspect and Ro-bin is blamed. The teacher hauls him into his office to make him confess. He denies stealing anything, but when they check his wallet they find a wad of bills. Ro-bin can't explain that the money is from his job at a nightclub, something illegal for a minor, so he keeps quiet to avoid getting anyone in trouble. The whole school starts treating him like a thief. He's kicked off the basketball team and walks around with his head down, carrying a reputation he doesn't deserve. Ji-na asks him to tell the truth, but Ro-bin refuses. He doesn't want to get fired. Frustrated, she calls him stubborn and he leaves hurt. Later, Ji-na regrets it and invites him to eat. There, he opens up for the first time and tells her he lived with his grandmother, whom he loved with all his heart, but she passed away and he's felt alone ever since. Ji-na, who doesn't give up, investigates on her own. She discovers the real thief is another girl who handled the money. That girl gave Ji-na a blood-stained bill that helps identify her. With Jae's help, they hack her Instagram and see photos of luxury bags bought with the fundraiser money. Ji-na writes the girl's name into the revenge game. Shortly after, the police arrive at school. The girl hides, but Ro-bin finds her. He stares with such intensity that she breaks down crying and confesses. The teacher catches her and he proves his innocence. Then he meets up with Ji-na, thanks her for trusting him, and with brand new shyness, gives her a candy. It's the first time he truly feels he's falling in love. Later on, the class goes on a field trip to an amusement park. The two brothers, Ro-bin and Jae, compete to monopolize Ji-na's attention. She's happy with so much attention until they force her to get on the roller coaster, even though she's terrified. During the ride, Ro-bin offers his hand and, feeling it, she relaxes and falls a little more in love. Afterward, some rude boys try to harass her, but Jae shows up in time and saves her, strolling with her as if they were a couple. A host at the park mistakes them for boyfriend and girlfriend, drags them on stage, and makes them share a chocolate bar, bringing their mouths dangerously close to a kiss. Ro-bin sees the scene, fills with jealousy, and storms off. The next day, Ji-na loses her wallet and Ro-bin is the first to kneel and help her look. He also shields her from the rain so she won't get wet, standing in front of her like a knight. She melts. But the calm doesn't last. Her younger sister, Oh-sana, gets jealous because she's in love with Ro-bin too. She posts a photo of the two sisters online to compare who's prettier. To her misfortune, the comments say Ji-na is more beautiful, so Sana gets depressed and decides to find a plastic surgeon to change her face. The doctor turns out to be a scammer who only wants to take her money. Ji-na realizes the con and, with Jae's help, arrives in time to save her little sister. He reminds Sana she's pretty just as she is. Furious, Ji-na writes the fake doctor's name in the app. Shortly after, the woman goes to a hair salon and her hair ends up destroyed. She's practically bald and has to live like that for a while. Back at school, Ji-na complains that she always gets the smallest lunch portion. Without hesitating, Ro-bin gives her his slice of watermelon in front of everyone. Everyone makes a face like, something's going on here. Rumors start that they're dating, which they deny even though their hearts say otherwise. Ji-na goes into her apartment with an excuse to see Ro-bin and finds him in odd, around-the-house clothes. She laughs, snaps a picture, and keeps the image burned into her mind because he looks adorable. On another occasion, she sees three girls throwing trash in the street and asks them to pick it up. They mock her and get ready to hit her, but an androgynous, very popular, strong girl appears out of nowhere and puts them in their place with a few kicks. This new classmate becomes Ji-na's friend, which sparks envy especially in another girl who wants to drive them apart. The latter sets up a blind date for Ji-na with a nasty guy. Jealous, Ro-bin blurts out that no boy would want to date her, and it hurts her so much that she accepts the date just to prove her worth. On her way to the date, Ji-na dresses up and puts on makeup. Ro-bin finds her and says she looks different, but deep down he's looking at her with shining eyes. She tells him to mind his own business and leaves. Later, he discovers the date was a trap with a thug. He arrives in time, blocks the guy's path, and tells Ji-na she looks as beautiful as a swan. It's the first time he compliments her outright and she blushes. To top it off, he offers her a ride on his bike. At first she keeps her hands to herself, embarrassed, but after hitting a bump she ends up hugging him from behind and realizes how good it feels. From then on, Ro-bin starts sending super cheesy love texts. You can tell he has no experience, he writes clumsily, but he's sincere, and Ji-na loves that. He himself is embarrassed by what he writes and paces around his room to calm the cringe. Amid all those emotions, Gina's painful past comes to light. Her father was a gambler. He lost a lot of money and even broke his daughter's piggy bank to bet. In the end, he decided to abandon the family. As a child, Gina begged him to stay, but he never returned. Years later, the old man from the shop who always hangs around her mother turns out to be Oh Kongdong, her father. He gets into trouble for selling alcohol to 3 minors who used fake IDs, and they blackmail him by threatening to call the police. He ends up in jail. Gina is devastated but doesn't want anyone to see her cry. When Robin sees her, he puts a cap over her face so she can cry in peace without the world staring, and he stays by her as long as needed. He reminds her she's a great daughter and doesn't have to carry all that pain alone. Then he calls JE and, together, they hack a security camera. They discover one of the thugs has a tattoo on his neck. With that clue, they get his name. Gina writes it in the app, and when the guy tries to rob a restaurant, he's caught and ends up humiliated, shirtless, in front of everyone. Her father thanks the boys from the bottom of his heart and tells them they can take whatever they want from the store. Half joking, half serious, Robin asks for Gina's heart. She blushes and doesn't know where to look. From there, things get more intense. JE organizes a surprise birthday for Gina and gives her a pendant like the one she lost in the woods. In that romantic atmosphere, he confesses he's liked her for a long time. Robin, who had also bought a similar gift, hears everything from outside with his heart in pieces. There's another heavy case. Saman, the man who proposed to Gina's aunt. She's completely in love, but Gina sees him with another woman acting suspicious. Later he asks the aunt for $200,000 supposedly to buy a house. The aunt, blind with love, agrees. Gina discovers the diamond ring he gave her is fake and realizes he's a professional scammer. She writes his name in the revenge game and the app does its thing. The guy suffers an embarrassing accident, wets himself, runs into several furious ex-girlfriends, and ends up being arrested by the police on the way to the wedding. The aunt wakes up, breaks up with him, and saves herself from a horrible marriage. The emotional pressure on Gina grows. She cares a lot for JE, but as a friend, the one she truly loves is Robin. After thinking it over, she sits down with JE one day and, with her heart in her hand, returns the pendant and tells him she can only see him as a friend. He's sad, but accepts her decision. When Robin sees photos of Gina and his brother in a romantic photo booth, he spirals. He thinks they've agreed to get married, or something like that. In a desperate attempt to get Gina's attention, he lets Suji tag along so Gina will see and get jealous. To everyone's eyes, they look like a couple feeding each other, laughing together. Gina looks at them with anger and sadness. What she doesn't see is that, when no one's watching, Robin rejects Suji and makes it clear he doesn't like her. Humiliated, she vows revenge. On the other hand, there's a different bullying case. A famous influencer who is, in reality, a terrible person. His best friend is psychologically abused by him, but when the boy appears in front of his mother and the school, he pretends to be the victim. Robin uncovers the truth, and Gina writes his name in the app. During an activity, a ball hits him in a very sensitive area. He ends up with ice on his thighs, and, when he recovers, he insults his friend just as he's being filmed live. Millions of people see his true character. He realizes it was all part of Robin's plan and, on his way out, gathers some guys to beat him brutally. They attack him, hit him with a bat, and leave him lying there. Everyone thinks he might die. He's taken to the hospital and Gina stays glued to his bedside, caring for him day and night. It's then she realizes that if Robin disappears, her world crumbles too. When he wakes up, he asks her not to leave his side and admits he likes being with her. Gina is even more confused, but her heart is full. Seeing she has almost no chance left, Suji plays her last card. She pretends to be madly in love with Robin and, in the middle of the drama, runs after him shouting that she loves him. Right then, a car hits her. Feeling guilty, Robin takes her to the hospital. The doctor says it's only minor bruises, but she demands a cast to fake a broken leg. Feeling responsible, Robin starts looking after her like a bodyguard. She exploits this to fuel Gina's jealousy, who is hurt by the sight of Robin feeding Suji or kneeling to tie her shoes. However, the truth always comes out. During a fire alarm, Suji sprints without crutches and, realizing everyone's watching, fakes pain in the wrong leg. She's exposed as a liar in front of the whole school. In the chaos, Gina stumbles and Robin protects her, grabbing her hand. Gina's friends notice and laugh because she turns as red as a tomato. Sweet moments arrive too. Robin invites Gina to go bowling. He's a pro, she's a disaster, so he stands behind her, taking her hands to teach her, and she completely melts. She can only focus on his smile. At the end of the date, Robin gives her a necklace like the one she lost in the woods. He searched for weeks, and now he puts it on her himself. Their hearts officially sync. When they return to the building, they're hit with an emotional bomb. Robin and Jae's mother has come back from abroad. She wants to take her sons to live in the United States. Jae sees it as a great opportunity, but Robin shuts down. He doesn't want to go because he finally found love and friends there. In the middle of an argument, Robin explodes and yells that he knows he isn't really her son. Jina, who overhears, is stunned. Later, he tells her the whole truth. Years ago he found out he's adopted. His biological parents died when he was a baby, and even though the family who raised him gave him a roof, he always felt he didn't fit in. That pain followed him all his life, and that's why he became so rebellious. Jina hugs him and tells him he doesn't have to endure anything alone anymore. Coincidentally, afterward Robin's mother runs into Jina, recognizes her as her son's friend, and thanks her for being with him. She admits that even if Robin sometimes has a strong temperament, she's proud of him. The boy hears from a distance, realizes his mother does love him, and apologizes. It's a healing moment for them both. Finally, Robin decides to take the step he's avoided for so long. He meets Jina at school, looks her in the eyes, and confesses that he loves her. Shy, she asks him to repeat it, and he, unafraid, shouts in front of everyone that he likes her more than his own life. Jina admits she loves him too, and they hold hands. Everything would be perfect if it weren't for the fact that he has only 3 days left before moving to the US with his mother. Instead of sinking, he proposes they live the 3 most amazing days of their lives. Jina makes a list of things to do with her boyfriend. Dates, songs, walks. They dress up nicely, have romantic moments, he sings her love songs, and every scene looks straight out of a drama. At school, a bad batch of fish in the cafeteria causes everyone to end up in the bathroom, everyone except Robin, who didn't eat. It's total chaos, but amid the mess and laughs, they stay focused on their little world. At the same time, they discover the school principal is corrupt. A teacher was unfairly fired, accused of selling exams, when in reality the principal wanted to put a friend in the position. Jina, Robin, and Jae sneak into the principal's office at night, find a hidden camera behind a painting, and review the recording. It clearly shows how he manipulates everything. They post the video online and the outraged students surround him. In the end, the police arrive and take him away. At home, Jina's mother discovers that her ex-husband, the gambling father, hadn't forgotten her. He shows up with flowers, kneels, and tells her he still loves her. After many stumbles, they end up giving it another chance and plan to remarry. The farewell day for Robin and Jae arrives. Their friends organize a small party and give them an album with photos of all the happy moments they shared. Robin smiles for real now, no longer like the cold, rebellious boy from the beginning, but like someone who found a place to belong. Jae returns Jina's repaired phone and, when she turns it on, another message from the revenge game appears. This time she doesn't write any name. She doesn't need it anymore. She now has friends, a more united family, and a boyfriend who truly loves her. She decides to delete the message and move on. Finally, the separation comes. At the airport, Jina fears that in the United States some tall, blonde, perfect girl will steal Robin's heart. To prevent that, she gives him a pendant matching hers and asks that if any girl asks for a kiss, he show her the necklace and remember that his heart already has an owner. He happily agrees, takes her hand, and they promise to love each other even from afar. Robin boards the plane and leaves the country. Time passes. Jina keeps going to school, but life feels a bit grayer without her rebel boy. In the US, Robin looks at their photos, laughs, sighs, and when a girl approaches him to ask him out because she thinks he's handsome, he replies that he already has a girlfriend and shows her the pendant. Jina is the love of his life. He looks up at the sky, whispers that he misses her, and lets the wind carry those words, as if they could fly straight to her. Because in the end, Robin's favorite place isn't a city, or a house, or a basketball court, it's Jina's smile, the one that makes him feel eternally happy. And when someone asks what he's thinking about, he always has the same answer in his mind. Jina's lips, Jina's eyes, and the whole life he wants to spend with Jina, the love of his universe. End of the drama.